Welcome to the Mind of Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast. I am Evan.
And I am Ja.
And this is our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from the previous games from the previous day. How are you this Friday afternoon, Ja?
Unfortunately, I went back into my stage of being tired.
You tired? We about to hit the weekend.
I know. Again, I'm sorry. It's work, but yeah, I'm making money, so I can't complain. But it does get tiring.
Yeah, I understand. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there understand your pain as well.
Yeah.
But it is Friday, so for all you working people out there, get through the day, and then you have those 2 days to yourself. So let's just get through today, and hope you have a good day. Hope you're having a good day. Last night had 5 basketball games to talk about, none of which were postponed. The first full day of no postponement. And then we return to that tonight because some games are postponed tonight. But nonetheless, some basketball games to talk about. All of them happened. Some interesting games, and we'll jump right into it with the new look Rockets with Oladipo's not playing yet, and John Wall was out.
Yeah.
Eric Gordon was out. Daniel House was out, and of course, no James Harden against the San Antonio Spurs. And this was a really interesting game to see how this will play out between the Spurs and the Rockets. The Rockets were trailing late in the fourth quarter, and they had a big run led by Christian Wood and I believe Sterling Brown. Sterling Brown.
Yes.
And they was able to come back in the game, take a lead, and win this much-needed game for their record.
Yeah.
109-105.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on this game, Ja?
And yeah, you forgot to mention also PJ Tucker defensively. He came up big. So
yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's be honest. The Rockets, they look free. They look like somebody took off handcuffs out of them after being locked up for so long. They got released from the state penitentiary, like, you know what I mean, out of their warden, aka James Harden. Like, you know, he had to go. He had to go. He was a cancer. He was just a bad luck. But we move away from that. We're not gonna focus on that anymore. This team is free. They're playing with energy. They look like they're flowing well together and defensively, and they look like a good two-way team. They look like they do well on both ends of the floor. Christian Wood was the bright spot tonight. He was balling. He was straight up balling. He was doing it.
And we're not casuals. We know who you are, Christian. So post game.
Yeah, I saw the post game. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know who you were, Christian. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Shaq didn't know who Christian Wood was before.
Yeah, Christian would have to call him
casual. That's right though. Come on, because he's been balling out this entire season, and we've been on that. We know he's been balling out this entire season. And we know how good he was in Detroit.
G14 classification, we got to respect that. G14 classification, we got to respect it. But yeah, he's been balling. Jay Sean Tate came up big. If you was watching him, he had some good plays. On both ends. But let's give it up for the Spurs also. Like the Spurs, the adjustments that Greg Popovich, like, he's already a great coach, so we don't got to explain this much. But the young guys were really playing well together. They were really playing well together. And even though it took up to the fourth quarter for them to get their stride, DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge made some shots, but it just didn't go in their favor when it was time to tie up the game. So this was just a good game. This was just a good game for both teams.
I'm going to be more harsh on the Spurs than you were, because one, when you're playing a team who only has 9 players, most of them are young role players. They didn't have John Wall. They didn't have Eric Gordon, Daniel House, a staple on this team throughout the season. And Eric Gordon and Daniel House staple on this team for the past few seasons. Mm-hmm. And yet you lose to this team. And this is more of – because, yes, Greg Popovich did do a great job in terms of the system with the young players, because they did show up. Kendall Johnson had a big game.
Yeah.
Him and Lonnie Walker had a nice game as well. But more importantly, DeRozan and Aldridge just was off. Really off. When your two best players are not hitting their shots, it's hard for you to win. And even when they weren't hitting their shots, they still had the lead. But then it caught up to them because now they were losing the lead and they weren't hitting their shots.
But DeMar DeRozan did come up big in that fourth quarter, though.
Yes, he did. He did. But then he missed the game tired.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Come on, because now I know you about to say, I know you about to bring up talking about, DeRozan not clutch down the stretch or whatsoever.
Well, I'm just saying. All I'm saying, he missed the game tired. I mean, this is surprising because this was a regular season game. This was a postseason game. I would have understood it. But since it's a regular season game,
why? Take it back. Take it back.
Since it's a regular season game, I was like, damn, Mr. Rosen, it's not April.
At least you made it to the conference finals. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, off of Laurie's back.
Stop. Stop it, bro. Respect DeRozan.
But nonetheless, yeah. This is just two bad performances from Aldridge and DeRozan. They should have really killed out there. And I was disappointed in their performances because their performances kind of were the reason why the Spurs team lost. Their performances, and of course defensively in the fourth quarter, which I know Popovich was furious about.
Yeah.
Giving up that lead. That's something that great coaches don't like at all. But
I'll give it to DeRozan a little bit. He needs to go. Even though he has been doing this recently, he needs to be more aggressive still. I feel like he's now taking a backseat a little bit to these young guys. He needs to be more aggressive. I will say that.
All right. Well, but credit to the Rockets, however, playing with the energy they played without James Harden. No more locker room problems, no more issues, no more media covering on you. Watch, they're not gonna care about the Rockets anymore. James Harden off there, so all the media going to Brooklyn now.
It's fine. That's good. That's perfect. It's pressure on Brooklyn while taking off all the pressure and going in the forward direction for Houston. So.
Yep, and while they sending all those 4 first-round picks and the 4 first-round swaps. But yeah, a great win by Houston. They'll see if they can, clean up their record after having a bad start of the season.
Yeah.
All right. The next game we'll be talking about features the late night game, which was the Golden State Warriors up against the Nuggets. And pretty much I just want to say, James Wiseman, welcome to the league. As I said yesterday, you would have your hands full with Nikola Jokic, the Joker, my debatably pick for the best center in the league and one of the best players in the league right now. Wiseman didn't know what to do. A deer in headlights. And then when the help came, you can't help on Jokic because he's that great of a passer. Yeah, he's leading the league in assists. He's 7 foot and he's leading the league in assists. Just think about that.
Yeah, because if the season wouldn't ended today, he wouldn't been the first center since Wilt Chamberlain to lead the league in assists.
And Wilt Chamberlain is just like a freak of nature in terms of basketball. He can do it all. So when you're up there with Wilt Chamberlain, that just shows you like you're doing a good job. Yeah, you're doing a really good job.
That's high praises.
And Wiseman, he just looked too young, too inexperienced. And even when help came, it was to no avail. Jokic triple-double with 23 points. He was out there dogging, playing at an MVP caliber level, playing like he is the best player on that team, which he is, and we all know that he is. It was just a great performance by Jokic. And he was really much the main reason why they beat this Warriors team, who's been looking pretty good as of late at 500 after this loss. And the ball it just has to go around. It goes through him. And even the inside NBA guys, Kenny, Ernie, and Shaq, and Charles said, when the ball goes through him, I guess it's best. What?
No, like are you about to say like everybody's moving constantly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's moving constantly. There's always a flow of movement. Nobody's just sitting and stop. It's not like an ISO ball. And once you get double teamed, then you pass it.
Exactly.
No. Once you get double teamed, you gotta have people streaking around, cutting through the basket. Like you don't know where the players are gonna at. So you have to be careful when you double team. And that's why Jokic is such a great passer. And that's why it's so good for their system, because not only do they have all those players playing around, but when you have a player like Jokic,
Exactly.
it doesn't, like it's so hard to kind of guard that offense. And of course, when you have another player like Jamal Murray there with him and then a great deep bench, then it's really hard to stop this Denver offense when they're in rhythm and when
Yeah.
they got it all together. And this is
Yeah.
why I kind of annoyed because they're 6-6 and better than a 6-16,
Yeah.
But I'll let you speak about this Warriors Nuggets game. But yeah, just a dominant performance by Jokic. I want to
Yeah.
speak about.
Before I go into the Nuggets, let's be honest. Curry did Curry things. Like,
Mm,
he went off. I think he had 37, 39. Correct me if I'm wrong.
35.
35. He had 35. Um, I don't think I need to go into too much detail when it comes to Curry. This Warriors team, let's be honest, they have a lot of fight in them. Like, there was moments in the game in which they looked like they could have made a run. And when they did make a run, it's just like the moment they made their runs, Denver kept saying, like, no, you're not taking the lead from us. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like that. It was like, you try to, like, a
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, but yeah, yeah. The Warriors have fight, but it was just like it wasn't enough. But let's talk about it, right? You talk about Nikola Jokic, his skill set. When you have a guy who's that skilled offensively with that skill set, whose main primary strength is passing, and you could work off of that. It's just like, it opens up a lot of opportunities offensively for the team. You're talking about a team who, when you got a guy like that, and you got shooters around him, could shoot the lights out of the basketball. And then you got along the fact that if their shot is not going for three, they can work from the mid range. And if the mid range is not working, then they can most definitely find ways to get into the basket. Along with the fact that they got a center who's constantly good at throwing up hook shots. So it works well for the offense, and that was makes them so high, have a high octane offense because of him and Murray, and along with the fact that this whole team is just offensively talented with some good defenders.
Yep, and we could leave it at that. A great win by the Nuggets. Let's see if they can keep improving on this record because, as I said, that 6-6 record does not show what their team really is. They are better than the 6-6 record.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, what is there to talk about? Is there anything that you want to talk about? Teams, players that great performances last night, great games or whatever.
Well, until Butler and them come back, we're not going to talk about the Heat in them.
Yeah, no.
But the Raptors Hornets game was a really good game to tune into.
Yes, it was.
Here's the
Raptors
thing.
win.
Yeah, the
Yay,
Raptors.
Raptors.
But let's be honest here. They nearly coughed it up too. They did
Yes,
nearly
yes.
cough it up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my main highlight, right? The Raptors are already struggling. We know this already, right? They need to get back into their rhythm of how
They
they used
need
to
to
play
get
the
back to Canada. That's why.
Don't do that to them. Quote them.
That's why they're struggling. They're not used to Florida.
They're not used to that hot weather. They're used to the freaking snow on the ground. But Barney Park. Let me stop. Jurassic Park. But the Hornets. It's like if you watch their games, whenever they look like they're out of it, it's like they always find some way to always gain momentum and energy to stick in it. Like, there was a point where the Raptors went on such a run, it felt like as if they already had the Hornets. Like, you know what I mean? All they had to do was close out the game. But yet the young energy of that team, the offensive ability of that team just did not make that happen. And they did what they did in the first two quarters. They slowed down the third, and the moment the fourth quarter hit, they picked up. They picked up quickly.
Yep. And he was referring to the Raptors had a double-digit lead in the second half against the Hornets. The Hornets, led by shooters, led by Miles Bridges, led by LaMelo Ball, who was really doing it. He had a really nice game in that second half. Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier, they just came storming back with their defense, transition baskets, easy open threes, and they almost had caught this Raptors team slipping, but the Raptors were able to hang on to it. And by the way, Boucher has been having a really good season, even though the Raptors haven't been that good. He's been really good for them.
No, it's just empty stats on the bad team.
You don't use what I said about Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, I'm playing.
It could be true. It could be true, but
Raptors aren't a bad team. I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Again, you said that Florida's weather is not working. That's all I gotta say. They still in the bubble, bro. Don't forget they performed badly against the Boston Celtics. Well, they didn't perform bad. It was more Siakam. It was more Siakam who performed bad. I'll take that back.
I'm gonna say they lost in 7. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But finally a win for the Raptors, but a great effort by this Hornets team.
Yeah.
Before we go on to predictions, I want to say praise up to Yusuf Nurkic, who suffered a broken wrist injury last night in the Pacers Blazers game, which the Blazers lost. Hopefully this is not a major, out for the season injury. Hopefully he misses like a few months, but he comes back because this Blazers team really needs him, as we've seen throughout the years that they struggle without him, and they're so much better when he's in the lineup.
Exactly. I don't think he's gonna be out for that long. I think
it shouldn't be out for the whole season. He should return towards middle season.
Yeah, middle of the season.
Yeah, but still, because anything can happen. Prayers up for Yusuf Nurkic. Hope for a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
All right, now it's prediction times. Now it's a prediction time. Like I said, there have been, I think, 3 games postponed or 2 games postponed. Yeah, 2 games postponed.
Yeah.
Crazy, but we got to get through these rapid fire like we haven't done it in a while, but we got to start now. Once again, rapid fire like we always used to do. But all right, first off, Knicks or the Cavs? Knicks. Was the Pacers postponed? The Magic or the Celtics?
Celtics.
I got the Magic and upset. First prime time game we'll be talking about features the returning Porzingis and Luka Doncic up against the reigning back-to-back MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. Who you got?
Mavs.
I got the Mavs as well. Let's see what Porzingis can do in the second game back. Yeah. The Grizzlies or the Timberwolves?
Timberwolves.
Grizzlies.
The Timberwolves need to bounce back one because they lost to the Grizzlies.
Timberwolves need to bounce back for the past 18 years.
Don't do that.
The Bulls are the Thunder.
The Bulls are who?
The Thunder.
I got the Bulls.
I got the Bulls as well. The Warriors Suns game is postponed. That would have been an interesting game. The Hawks or the Jazz? Jazz. The second primetime game we were talking about features. Oh, the media gonna love this one. Zion and the Pelicans up against your defending champions, Los Angeles Lakers. Who you got?
Lakers.
I got the Lakers as well. And lastly, the ugly sister in the same city, the Clippers up against the distant ugly cousin in the same state, Sacramento Kings.
I got Sacramento with this one. I'm going to pick that.
You got Sacramento?
Yeah.
Now watch they win because I said that. I got the
Wizards and look what happened.
2 terrible, upsetting franchises, but hopefully with bright futures in terms of one for short-term future and one for long-term future. But I got the Clippers.
Okay. Can't go against that.
But all right, I think it's time to wrap things up now. Any final thoughts, John?
Nah. Harden is championship or bust, I guess. Championship or bust. That's all I gotta say. I don't.
Harden is saying, well, we all know that. Yes, they needed this championship. Otherwise, it's worth for nothing. Yeah. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, they made it to the finals. No, they need it's a ring or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, imagine LeBron forming a big 3 and him not getting the ring.
Exactly. Especially after the freaking tantrum you threw just to get out. Well, you need to win a chip. That's all I gotta say. You gotta win a chip. There's no way you're gonna look like he looked younger than both of us, bro.
Well, honestly, I just don't think it can be fixed. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching today's pod. Make sure you tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
And make sure to follow our IG page down in the description below. Sorry, I was kind of out of it. I kind of.
It's all right, bro. It's all right. Yeah, link down below. Follow our IG page. And once again, I am Evan,
And I'm Jack.
and this was the Mind Basketball Podcast. Kyrie, when you coming back?